Hello everyone and welcome back to Mud Pit. This is Wargame Red Dragon, and today my ally I Hate Helos and I are both going to be playing as the Red Dragons Coalition. So right off the bat I'm headed over toward Feder and toward the center of town, while my ally is headed over to Anna and Dimitri. But there is a little bit of an oddity here. My deck does not have any ATGM infantry, which was a big mistake frankly, but one that I didn't realize until after the game started. So I've been messing around with this deck and I made a bit of a deck building error, but right off the bat I do have my Helicopter Hunter out, and let's see, a couple Lynx 3s, 100-point prizes for that, and one of them killed, second one targeted, one missile away, but not a good angle there, and I ordered evac because we had taken a hit from the Lynx 3, and I didn't really want to stick around. So my plan was to be relatively aggressive, and I do have some infantry right away headed up toward these forward woods, ones that the Blue 4 team does tend to grab on this sort of side of the map, and you can see those WZs do excellent work killing some paratroopers from the staff man before they can get in, HG7 also backing them up. And now we have more infantry coming over here, recoilless rifles and ZTQs, and there's a big push in the staff man over on this side, so even on Ocelot S, well, a little bit of an interesting choice putting a command vehicle up there, but I have Tinka and WZs up front, ZTQs in the back, and these M1992s, I was just trying them out. They do carry, of course, 8 Saklos missiles, Conquerors, not Conquerors M, but 20 AP, decent range, and very good optics. I was thinking maybe they could be a good thing, but a double stack of Challenger Mark IIs is going to make that very, very challenging. These guys are, of course, the 115 pointers, and 19 frontal armor, 19 AP power is going to be an issue. You can see a couple ATGMs on the way, but that's going to just impact on that frontal armor. 1 or 2 points of damage tops, and that's even if they hit, which we had a swing and a miss, and now incoming fire from the Challenger 2s. Planes coming in as well, and I'm not sure what they were going for. Oh, looking for the Su-25K from I Hate Helos, which this was an amazing play. 1 Challenger down, 2nd Challenger down, so that basically saved this side of the field, and I can't even take any credit, but the Su-25K is killed by a Chieftain Marksman. These guys are, of course, 60 points. Really good gun AA, of course. 11 frontal armor will keep them alive very, very well. And, well, so I didn't see that both of them were dead, and this is kind of an interesting thing. At this point, there was the Ocelot C, there was a couple other units over here, but not all that much, and I thought that a Challenger had gotten into my back line, so yeah, no, we're going to be bringing out some additional reinforcements. Now, I have kind of ignored this side of the field, and we can see now Helos is moving up into Anna. There's a lot of infantry here, a lot of specialist infantry, Yokjon Day 90. I've been using them as well instead of Legion 90 just because they are a bit more versatile. Less anti-infantry specialists, but still. And we were able to, I think, already kill the... Yep, we killed the command vehicle over on that side, and now we're going to see the power of Tanka Shashao very soon. Also, a plane coming in from the staff man. Let's see... Hornet, evac ordered, there was nothing to shoot at. And my ZTQ is a bit far back. But again, keep in mind, I thought there was a heavy tank over there that I couldn't quite see. So, Tanka Shashao and WZ taking on a Chieftain. And, yeah, I don't know, if he'd gotten that gun online, that would have been really difficult to deal with. You can see the WZ is not getting all that good damage on it, and it's mostly because he's moving. That's going to be shots on side armor now, and, yeah, a lot of shots there. I think the Chieftain probably could have won that fight had he tried. ZTQ might get the last shot. Let's take a look, and the TY-90 was a bit too far forward, so I think that might have been what he was going for, and yep, ZTQ does get the last shot. So, very nice there. And Helos has had a bit of a hard fight here. We can see ZTZ's 70-point things going up against Challenger 1 Mark IIs, never a good thing. But now, Tanka Shashao versus Royal Marines, this was the highlight of the match for me. 60 points of Royal Marines versus 30 points of Tanka Shashao. 10 men versus, at full strength, these guys are up at 20. And those PW-80s were brutal. Look at that. Every single hit is 1 to 2 men dead. And yeah, well, they have a lot of ammunition, and, well, okay, so that was a bad volley, but down to 6. They're actually outpacing the damage output from the Royal Marines. Now, granted, that's because the Bren L4 is not exactly a wonderful tertiary, and they're not within range of the primary on that gun, but even so. So now we do have a couple of WZs that made it back behind, but not a lot of success there because the Challenger 1 Mark II is going to mop that up, and a wonderful, wonderful forward position here in Anna. So no cap on Anna yet, no cap on Dimitri, and you can see that my lack of ATGMs is really hurting this sort of defensive position. Ordinarily, the player going to this town would be able to sort of fend off tank pushes and things like that from the Blue 4 team a bit better, but we weren't able to use that to our advantage, which was part of why I was being so aggressive over on the right-hand side. But Excellent use of smoke, and I think that the Blue 4 player Nikogda probably figured that there was more back here than there was, because at the moment there's really not much. So Bochung Su making their way toward the town, another 70-point tank headed over, but I mean, that's just gonna, immediately lose the fight to the Challenger 1 Mark II. Wonderful gun on these guys, 19 AP is pretty decent. You can get the same gun, I think, for a little bit cheaper, but not with that frontal armor that the Challenger 1 Mark II does enjoy. So, a couple of ZTQ 62Is. I don't really use these guys, but after watching this, I think I might, because look at that Warrior Milan, and 1 shot, 2 shots, down we go, 50 points, and some wonderful rate of fire there as well. And now Helos is trying to secure the town on the left-hand side, which will give him a forward position, probably why the Challengers were retreating as well. Very dangerous to be close to that town. You can be spotted, you can be taken out either by planes or ATGM support from there. And you can see now we are getting a little bit of ATGM support over that way, but enemy Coyote, which was actually the only unit over here, is more than taken out by ZTQ's Korshun, Jugostai 90, and Chanmaho 5s, but this comes at the cost of reinforcing my front line, so the Staffman was relatively light on units here. Well, he was right after that initial push, but now that CH-147 is up there, my WZs can take him out a little bit, but Lynx AH-7s, Pathfinder's pushing up, Challenger 1 Mark III, which is the 145-point version, moving up behind him, and this is going to absolutely suck because I have no ATGMs up here, I have no heavy tank up there at all, and my reinforcements are a bit too far back, so WZ 550 is going to be moving over, and I'm going to have to do something about that because those Lynx AH-7s, man, they'll getcha, and I'm not going to be able to hold these woods for very long. In the meantime, if we flip over to neutral and take a look over on the left-hand side, a very challenging game for Nikogda, as there's some SAS, there's some Fusiliers 90, but, I mean, Leopard Mexus and Challenger 2s, the Challenger 1 Mark IIs have not been able to secure this despite that heavy armor push here. Probably a bit more cheap infantry headed toward the town would have been a nice difference maker just to try to get a little bit more versatility, and you can see Bomb Tank Fagos have secured that town and proven what I said earlier to be very, very true. So these guys, let's see, 1 shot, 2 shots. Yeah, they're not going to do much per shot to the Challenger 1 Mark II until he turns, and that last tank did turn. That's why it was such a nice, fast kill. Challenger 1 Mark III, meanwhile, is taken out by ZTQ-62, and this was interesting. I didn't expect this, but I don't think he can see. Well, let's take a look. So the Staffman, and no. So my tank is shooting at his Challenger, and he has so little scouting up here that he was able to shoot for free and get a 145-point kill off of, let's see, this is a 60-point tank. So it really does go to show the power of these sorts of recon tanks. And of course, right as I say that, another one does come in, and he can see him now, and this is going to absolutely suck. See if that last shot comes in, and no. So my ZTQ able to get back, and I just told him, you know what, go all the way back, use the woods, break line of sight if you can, but just keep on going and get out of there while we wait for the Chanmaho 5, the other ZTQ, Korshun, and a couple other things to get up and forward. But the Challenger does take out my HQ7, a little bit too far forward there, and my WZ is also spotted, and this is because of the Pathfinders in the woods. So just a little bit of scouting, and all of a sudden my life becomes a lot harder. But the immediate response from me is to use smoke, and we can see now, from his perspective, you can see the TY90, you can see the WZ, you can see my BTRs, and smoke is not quite enough. These guys do have an angle out of those woods to keep spotting, so very deadly indeed. But we'll switch back to my perspective, and this was just a cheap infantry rush. I mean, BTR 50 PKs, 5-point vehicles. The WZs are more expensive, but I figured hell with it. And that does actually prompt an F111C run here. Let's see what it's going for. I'm not sure it would be worth it, but, well, Jugostai and flattened by the F4111C. However, my own 27SK is able to go there and get the kill. Do lose the Helo Hunter, however, so nice use of the Eurofighter Typhoons. And I don't know, this was a bit interesting. So, not the worst trade ever. I did lose a lot of points in infantry there, but killing that F4111C was very valuable to prevent it from happening again, of course. And now we have Royal Marines 90. I think they were trying to make it to that woods there, but they're not going to be able to do it. The Chanmaho shooting at them. And, yeah, no, that's dead. But a nice answer here from the TOW2, however, the TY90. This guy, he's not great in the opener because if you buy him and there's no helicopters, it's a dead buy. But to defend these sorts of flanks against people who like helicopters a bit too much, these guys are amazing. 26-25 meter range, 8 missiles, so you rarely, if ever, have to go in and resupply them. Of course, I say if ever because sometimes they just die first, but we are going to take a look. J7Cs coming in, bombing runs, and Nikogda had finally been able to use some infantry, but it's a little bit too little too late, as the Canadian rifles are taken out, screened out by Bochung-Su, and the Banteng Fagos are still able to just rip their support to pieces. So another ATGM going in, and down goes that infantry fighting vehicle, and the infantry cannot quite do it on their own. Also, I mean, these guys, yeah, I mean, it's a Fago M, not a Conqueror's M, so 16 AP, but it doesn't need to be much. Even a single point of heat over time with enough shots will get the job done. We do have Li Ren fighting against SAS, and this is going to be a losing fight for now, but the game is not yet over. Also, we do have a very interesting thing, so Challenger 1 Mark II, down to 4 strength, panic, double unit of Korshun, and let's see, also MI1 moving over, ATGM from the side is a swing and a miss, Korshun shooting at the front with those Groms, and down he goes. So just goes to show you, these guys, they're 15 points each, they have a nice Grom high explosive anti-tank shot, and hey, it's enough, right? It's not kinetic, it's not going to get better with less distance, but it is certainly going to be pretty useful. So this marker was, I think there was, yes, there it is from Nikogda, a command vehicle that is trying to get out and stunned by the artillery. Let's see, next volley coming in, and not quite a kill. Oh no, Stormer HVM, big difference there. But, I mean, this guy, yeah, Stormers are nice, ADATs are nice, the support tab from Commonwealth is wonderful. I haven't really been able to make Commonwealth work in a while. I might give it a try again, because I used to love that deck, but I don't know, Stormers are very nice. It's just, it's kind of like playing Soviets, right? Everything is really expensive, and particularly for Commonwealth, it's also very slow. BM24, however, is shooting in, and let's see what he was going after. Not going to be a huge effect there, but pretty nice to stun and panic these guys. Almost got a kill on the Bisons, maybe that's what he was looking for there. But just keeping everything sort of off kilter is going to be very nice. In the meantime, my Korshuns are moving up, ZTQs falling back as a Challenger 1 Mark III is spotted, and an ADATS. And this guy needed to die, because that guy alone, look at that, 2800 meter range against ground, 25 AP power is going to chew right through those infantry support vehicles, and without them, I did not want to move up tanks, because, I mean, use your cheap things to screen your expensive is always a good idea. So WZ-550, I really like these guys. They remind me a lot of the Israeli Hafiz. Maybe a little bit worse performance, but I think it's the same range, actually. And these guys are wheeled, the Hafiz is not, but you do lose armor in the trade-off, which makes these guys extraordinarily fragile. So the WZ-550, one frontal armor is, well, barely better than 0, to be honest. The things that they're going to be fighting against will still usually get one-shot kills. But WZ-550 and the cheaper version, the HJ-8, doing some good work here, shooting at Chieftain Mark 10s, and you can see that HJ-8 does go down. Oh, swing and a miss from the WZ. He is backing up. I'm not sure it'll be enough. The additional range is nice for these guys, but it usually, in my experience, they usually get line of sight blocked then too, and that can be a definite challenge. But the Banteng Fagos in the town now should be able to provide some decent support. And yeah, that's a kill. So, I mean, when these guys hit, they hit really flipping hard. So I am bringing up more recon infantry, as recon has been a little bit light here. I want something other than the ZQ to be spotting for me. WZ-550 was spotted by something over in the Blue 4 section, and so moved back, just to keep that fragile, expensive piece alive. But I have no answer to the Lynx H7. I have lost my Helicopter Hunter, and those guys are very expensive. In the meantime, it was kind of interesting that Anna hadn't been capped yet. If I were Heroes, I probably would have capped him a bit before, of course. I also probably would have lost the zone, but, you know, trade-offs, right? So, Lynx H7, and this was really unfortunate, those snab rocket pods and my Jogos Thigh are spotted here. I don't know if they just weren't quite in the woods enough, or if there was good recon over on that side. I believe the good recon, because the WZ was spotted previously, but yeah, no, this is going to be interesting. So I saw that they were spotted. I tried, I think here in a second, to move them into the woods. We'll have to see. But TH-495s, this is interesting. So one of the things that has helped me a lot recently is, in the late game, just go for the 5-point transports. Your transports are going to die. You may as well not make it expensive. And those guys, I mean, that was a triple stack carrying Canadian rifles. These guys are 10 points each, carried by 20-point transports. and which one was really more valuable, right? The transports just ran into ATGMs, and it wasn't even a screening action where you were protecting other more expensive things behind it. So maybe not quite the best there. And now we can see I did kind of miss it. The Lynx AH7 did get a kill for free on this 30-point Jigostai 90 unit, so very much not good. And this sort of stalls me out a little bit, which, I don't know, we were taking out a +1, we have about 24 minutes left in the match, but 131 points up was pretty comfortable, so I figured better to do it right than to do it fast. And by do it right, I did of course mean that I wanted to screen out their fighters a little bit more. I also did want to get this Koksan up and try to take out the ADATs from afar, but our first couple volleys, they haven't gone in yet, so we'll take a look when they do. In the meantime, finally some very nice smoke here, so the approaching Canadian rifles are screened out pretty well there. Probably needed to keep that going a little bit more on this side than over here, although the ZTQs have been doing excellent fire support. It's just a wide area to cover. When I've done things like this before, I just take 4 mortars, 1 mortar, just each one targeting a different position, and hit them all 4 at once, with maybe 2 orders for additional smoking. And now here we do have the ping from I Hate Helos about a command vehicle. A little hard to tell where he stops though. This is a long line and it was a Jeep. Didn't stop immediately, so that made me think it was maybe somewhere along the farther down section, because I don't know, if it had been stopped right when it was pinged, it would have been back there, but it kept going for a time. In the meantime, Lynx H7 Tow 2, and now we do have some other things opening up. I was trying to see, could I get sneaky forward units here? The ZCC is almost able to get in, but killed by the ADATs just before he would have gone back into hiding, and the Tow 2 is a wonderful screening force as well. However, this did let me see the ADATs, so I know he's right there, and we should have the Koksan firing. Yep, he's aiming. Long aim time on these guys. I used to love them. By used to, I mean a couple weeks ago, but the long aim time has definitely been an issue as of late. So there it is, spotted again. Attack marker, just to remind myself where it is. I actually kind of missed with the attack marker, and this is a problem. Generally make sure you actually ping the thing you want to hit, but you know, such is life. We did lose the +1 as Dimitri was countercapped, but now we have a very nice flanking maneuver from I Hate Helos, Yukjundai, Li Ren, and BTR 60Ps. Moving over that way, Fago's sparring with Warrior Milans, and that will be, usually anyway, a winning fight for the Fago, but Warrior actually got a kill, so, I mean, hey, more power to him. And now we have a very aggressive fighter move for me, trying to screen out the Hornet, trying to screen out the F-111C. Of course, there usually is a second one, I think, depending on the veterancy taken. And yeah, so that was the artillery volley from the Koksan. We do have more shots coming in, but the last I could see, that ADATS was alive, and let's watch that last shell. Yep, there it is. ADATS is spotted. He's trying to move out of the way, and nope, swing and a miss. So he is moving forward, and that's going to prompt me to do this. J7C, J7C, J7H, J7H, and I lined up that entire section. I said one of these bombs will get you, and that's good enough for me. And if I lose some of the bombers along the way, so be it. This is a very expensive piece at 110. And more importantly, it was stopping an entire push, right? So we do get that ADATS with the last bomber, which was just beautiful. But that will clear the way. So now we do have a lot of good fighting here. SAS taken down by Yukjundai. Yukjundai 90 also fighting against Fusiliers, and this will be a very, very nice fight from Best Korea over there. I don't know, I always say both are Best Korea, so before you get any ideas about things like that. There was a nice pushback here in the center, well, between Anna and Dimitri. Leopard C2 Maxis doing wonderful fire support. An F-111C bomber coming in, let's see what he's going for, and Evac Winchester. Bombs coming in, those Yukjundai 90 are probably not going to be happy, and yeah, taken down by those huge, huge bombs. This guy's only alive because the Banteng Fago ran out of ammunition. The other group, of course, was killed, so a bit unfortunate there. But now we are moving forward. Challenger 1 Mark II, Challenger 1 Mark III blocking the way, and the Chanmo 5 will not be enough to take out both those guys at the same time. But we are able to finally, I think, get the Eurofighter Typhoons, well, stunned. Let's see. Yep, and the Radar AA is going to take him down. ZTQs, meanwhile, getting taken to pieces. I have lost the Chanmo 5 as well, but that last brave ZTQ, and yep, killed the Challenger 1 Mark II, dies to the Mark III. And I was sitting there going, really, I can't kill that last one guy. So I, of course, did bring out 2 more of these guys. I think I'm going to take him out of the deck, to be honest. It's one of those units where you always kind of want him to work, and he never really does. And we do actually get a surrender from Nikagda as he's pushed completely out of the woods here. I think the Leopard C2 was taken out as well, and it's been a brutal game, right? So there's been a lot of fighting going on. This nice defensive line from Helos just hasn't moved, so he's been attacking past it with additional units, and still no cap on Anna. So if I could go back and do it over again, I might have thrown a CV his way, but I don't know. I kind of felt I had my hands full on this side, trying to get, well, so not holding necessarily, but trying to get enough to be able to move forward. And now we do have a Challenger 1 Mark III, a couple shots from a Buntank for go, only 4 missiles left. 1 shot, 2 shots, down to 1 strength in the Challenger, and actually WZ 550 taking a shot, swing and miss. See if we can get the kill here. I think it's going to be... Okay, so this is the 5 go, but man, those HJ9s, are they a little faster? Because they certainly seemed it. But now we do have the TY90, and I love this unit's performance during this game. It was absolutely just amazing. Lynx 3 unfortunately does take a miss there, and that's going to be a fatal mistake, as the TY90 does get his TY90 missiles online. And that is going to prompt a general mobilization here. We, of course, are now playing 2 against 1, and, well, against an opponent who really did not want to give up. So Nikagda, well, I guess now we're 2 against 1. Nikagda had previously surrendered, but he then left watching as well, and we are able to identify the HQ section in the center, which pretty much this was the end. Ticking +2, 15 minutes left, we would have gotten there, but it looks like the staff man just did not want to surrender, so finally bombing run takes that out. So kills losses were pretty lopsided there. It was a pretty resounding victory for me and I Hate Helos. 2739 kills, 1060 losses for me, 2809 kills, 1310 losses for I Hate Helos. He did definitely have the more vicious fighting over in the woods in Anna, and certainly it is a little bit harder to create a nice sort of screening force there on that side. Unfortunately, not a complete list of kills here, so I won't go through it, but even not complete, because I was flipping back to neutral, the TY90, Lynx H7, SAS, TOW2, CH147, a wonderful kill list off there, so definitely the MVP of that match, even more so than my Helo Hunter. Alright, well that's all we've got for you guys today. Thank you all for hanging around, and we'll see you again real soon.